And it was physically violent too. I got beat up a lot because I was a Jew, and it was just went with the territory. Walking home from Talmud Torah, more than one occasion, we'd be on the lookout if we missed the bus, and sometimes I'd miss the bus going home. So it was just a way of life, I think, the anti-Semitism. I accepted it as, that's normal. Everybody's not Jewish hates Jews. I didn't know any different.
For the most part, it was very good. Because we were Jewish, we felt a little strange, and most of the friends of ours that we associated with didn't treat us too much differently, but there were a few people who were indoctrinated with a bit of anti-Semitism, and we were sort of picked on. I learned how to run fast because they used to pick on me when I'd walk by the alley near the school. But for the most part, I must say that my experiences in that neighborhood were very good. It was a great revelation to be with both my non-Jewish friends and my Jewish friends, and I feel indeed fortunate to have friends from both groups.
It was segregated. The whites lived on one area and the blacks lived on the other, separated by Sumner Field. Sumner Field was a ballpark. It was about 2 blocks long, about 3 blocks wide, and that's what the government did. That the government segregated us. A terrible thing when you look back at it.
But all of us had many Jewish friends. I used to attend synagogue.
Did you really?
Yes, the one that was across the street from Ruth and them. I used to go there.
I had Jewish
With your friends?
With my friends. Of course, I couldn't sit on the same side as the boys, but I sat on with the women. That was that. Yeah, so.
I don't think it was as heavy as it is today.
No.
Harold and I were involved. We were in North Commons. I don't know if it was a Northside picnic, and a couple guys started to hassle Harold, and he started to scuffle with. There were, I think, 2 or 3 of them that were scuffling with him. So I yelled, "Hey, one at a time!" One of the big guys turned around, he hit me. They hit me the Adam's apple. I went down, I couldn't breathe, and Harold had to finish the fight, and then he picked me up off the ground. But
Dutchy Strauss and these other neighborhood houses, which is what we played against those fellows, and we encountered a lot of anti-Semitism in those days. Like the Northeast Neighborhood House, they had a balcony around the gym.
It's Margaret Berry that had that balcony.
That's Margaret Berry had a stage on one end.
Yeah, if you weren't careful, you
had an open. Had the open door that faced onto Broadway, and if you were going in for a basket, they would open the doors. They could push you out on Broadway. But at the Northeast Neighborhood House, they had that balcony around there, and we'd go in there, and they'd spit on us. This is the truth. And of course, in later years, we became friendly with them, and some of the fellows from the Northeast Neighborhood House played with us on our basketball team. We sort of integrated at that time. And then we were welcome at the Northeast Neighborhood House.
I can recall a meeting that Mayor Humphrey came to at Lincoln Junior High School auditorium when we were literally engaged in gang fights everywhere in North Minneapolis. At North Commons, on the school grounds, and on Plymouth Avenue. The individuals would get waylaid, and then we went out looking for whoever did who had perpetrated the acts, and we got into some bitter fights. He came and said that this wasn't going to go on, and he was going to see to it that this all ended on the playgrounds and the schools and everywhere else. And he did.
We used to go play the Settlement House Leagues, especially in basketball. That was one time we came into contact with non-Jews, and sometimes it was not under the best circumstances, especially in Northeast, where we were harassed a bit just because we were Jewish. Otherwise, I had an experience myself when I went to YMCA camp when I was 11 and 12, and that was a different kind of experience because it was probably the first time I was with a number of non-Jewish kids, predominantly non-Jewish kids, and it's very enjoyable. And I went back second or third year. I even and took some of my friends from North Minneapolis. You guys didn't go, but several other guys came. We
Was that
took a
Ida
canoe
Hoppy?
trip. Ida Hoppy, yeah.
I kind of remember that.
Lake
Yeah, it was a good
Independence.
pla- yeah. I remember early on too, I had a little bit different too. Early on I was on 20th and Penn, which is on the north side, a little further north from maybe the more predominant Jewish, but we had a few Jewish people on our block. We had quite a few non-Jewish. It was a harmonious group with the non-Jewish in our neighborhood. Remember next door, a German, Mr. Sutz, and his black Cocker Spaniel. I used to take him to the North Side picnic for the Mutt Parade. Didn't have a dog of our own, so I'd borrow his black Cocker Spaniel, and he was the one that always had a beer on his lap in the winter, and he had a huge garden. His whole backyard was a garden. He's quite a guy. But the Jewish kids connected well, I think, with the various groups between the Scouts, the Talmud Torah, the athletics at school. There was a certain amount of after school. We all had a good time together.